Welcome to another recap. Today, we're going to recap a movie, Black Clover, Sword of the Wizard King. It's a Japanese animated fantasy action film directed by Ayataka Tanemura and based on the Black Clover manga series. In the start of the movie, they show us a scene where numerous magic knights are trying to stop a magic wizard named Conrad by taking his powers away. By this moment, Conrad asked them why you all are doing this. Why are you all going against me? Then, a magic knight named Julius replied, although your intentions are quite right, but the way you are trying to make it work is completely wrong. You're going on the wrong path. On hearing this statement, Conrad uses his key magic and opens many portal doors there which produce some magic waves. They help him get free from the knight's magic. Conrad also summons a sword there. When knights looked at it, they were shocked, as it was the imperial sword. After this, Conrad uses the full potential of his imperial sword and kills many of the magic knights there in one shot. At this moment, Julius Novachrono comes to the backside of Conrad and uses his time power to make a complete seal around Conrad's body. This means that Conrad will not be able to use his sword or his black magic. Conrad says to Julius, I'll never give up on my dream, and in future I'll return back and start again to finish my business. After this, Julius completely seals Conrad, and there is a white splash. 10 years later. After 10 years later, they show us a scene of a battle arena in which different magic knights were about to fight and show their skills. The main reason behind setting up this battle arena was to promote magic among the public, so they know more about knights' magic and their trust starts to build in magic knights. Everyone was eagerly waiting for the event to start. Different people were supporting and cheering for their favorite knight. Then the tournament starts. In this first match, we see a man named Yuno Grinberry All enter the battlefield. He had the wind power and he was the vice-captain of Golden Dawn Magic. Seeing him on the battlefield, people were super excited and started making gossips that Yonu will definitely win this match. Now here comes the opponent of Yonu. People were saying he was just a normal guy and laughed at him saying, Yonu will definitely beat him up. Then the fight begins. Here Yonu made a big tycoon circle of wind and threw at his opponent. His opponent just blocked this attack with his sword. They all were shocked at how he did this. Then Yonu and the public realized that he was Asta. Asta had the devil power in him. In the next scene, they show us that Conrad was also there at the stadium, seeing their fight with his 3 other members. One of their members uses his magic and builds a black shield around the arena. Here Conrad also takes out his imperial sword and starts using magic. Here Conrad comes to a boy who was Julius. Actually, Julius was heavily injured in a fight which caused him to lose some of his powers, and he started growing back into a young boy. This was the reason why Julius' time seal was getting weaker and weaker, and at last it broke, and Conrad got his freedom. And now Conrad says that I want to make this kingdom a different place where everyone should respect each other and obey each other and live peacefully. But to accomplish this dream, I have to kill every one of you. And after this, he calls one of his members and commands him to attack the public. On hearing his command, the lady started his magic and opened different portals and summoned the metal soldiers from the sky. These soldiers start attacking the civilians. Seeing this critical situation, Asta and his friend Noel started fighting with these soldiers. On the other hand, Conrad members approached Julius. He couldn't believe it and says how these former wizards are still alive. Here Conrad replies that I rebirthed them with my imperial sword, and now these 3 members are helping me a lot in turning my dream into reality. Here one member attacked Asta, but he blocked and reversed the attack on him. On the other hand, a guy named Mark shows up and tries to help Julius, but Conrad absorbs all of his powers. After this, many magic knights and their captain come there to help. There started a terrible fight among them, where all the magic wizards started beating these 3 members. In the next scene, caption, Yami took Julius to a safe place. Here, Julius asked Yami to go to the magic lab and bring him a treasure of something, but Yami wasn't ready to leave the battlefield, so he asked Asta to bring Julius the treasure. So they followed his order and went to the lab. Here, Yami returns there, and Conrad says that I just need the Imperial sword to be fully charged. After this, I'll destroy everything here with my single hit. Here, two more magic captions and wizards arrived there, Nozel Silva and Fuego Leon Vermilion. After this, they started fighting again. While fighting, Conrad suddenly got a chance, and he put his sword into the stadium's ground. First, the stadium starts shaking, and after this, it rises up in the air up to the sky, and one of the Conrad's members again builds a shield on the stadium. Here, Asta and his companions reach the magic lab, and there, Asta met with his friend Nero. She told them to follow her. On their way to the lab, Noelle asked her about Conrad, and she tells them that Conrad has the key magic. He can absorb anyone's magic and use it against him. On reaching the lab, there were shocked Conrad arrived there before, and here Conrad destroys the treasure box, which Asta was looking for. This makes Asta a little angry, and as he took his sword out, Conrad quickly took the sword from Asta and threw it away and froze him into a rock. Here he says that I knew about your plan because I've absorbed Max's power, and actually Max had the power to read minds, so fortunately it helped me. After this, he used his magic to show the screening of the kingdom. The kingdom was on fire, metal soldiers were strolling around, magic knights were running out of energy and magic. And he also shows Nozel Silva and says he was a complete disappointment. He was so weak and started making fun of him. Noelle here attacks Conrad with her water dragon, and Conrad grabs her and starts to absorb her powers too. Suddenly Asta breaks the frozen rock and comes to help her. Conrad and Asta started fighting with each other. Asta activated his devil mode, and this was the reason why he could stand against Conrad. During combating each other, Asta asked him if you were a wizard. It was your duty to protect people. Why are you destroying everything here? He replied that the Imperial sword had the power to engulf many people, which produces a lot of energy, meaning I can make a new community of people who love, obey, and respect each other genuinely. Here, Conrad also gave an invitation to Asta to join his mission, but he refused. Now Conrad started attacking him with his full potential, and Asta was about to die. Eventually, Yuno came there and flew Asta with him. Yuno took Asta to the secret place where all the magic wizards were hiding. Asta was brutally injured, but stood up and said, "We're the wizard guys. If we feel feared from Conrad, who will face him?" He gave a motivational speech which influenced many wizards there. They all became energetic and were ready to defeat the man who destroyed their beautiful kingdom. At this moment, 4 more wizard captains arrived there. They told Asta that they were out to some other place to complete surveys, but reached back as they got the news about the destruction Conrad did. They sat together for a meeting. They knew that alone wizard captains couldn't do anything because Conrad would definitely suck their magic away. So they all decided to first go and attack the Black Bull's base. The Black Bull's base will actually help them to enter the Flying Kingdom. Here Asta and his friend arrived at Black Bull's. There were many metal soldiers patrolling for safeguarding the base. Asta and his team fought with all of them. After this, they entered the base. Here, Asta asked someone from his team to control the base. This member started using his magic and turned the base into a fight jet and flew it near the stadium. Here, the metal soldiers received the news about Asta's invading. So they built a strong wall on the upper route to the stadium so they could stop the jet from approaching there. These metal soldiers successfully built a metal wall. Fortunately, William did a hole in this metal wall with his tree magic. From this magic trick, their route was paved completely and they easily passed it. Now, Conrad also heard about this alert, so he asked his members to build a much stronger shield around the kingdom. He obeys Conrad's command and makes a very powerful shield. In order to stop Asta and his team, he also came out of the stadium and used his crystal power to attack a strong laser beam at their jet. As the laser was about to hit their jet, eventually Fuego Leon made a portal with his magic that opens on the outer side of the stadium. Asta was here enlarging his sword to make a hit that will directly break the shield. Seeing this uncontrollable situation, the other 2 Conrad's members arrived there to stop Asta, but Arrow here used his magic to lock them in a prison, and Fagolion opened a portal for them and threw them in other dimensions, away from the stadium. But now here comes the Crystal Man. He used his magic to throw heavy crystals at their jet, which causes the jet to crash. But at the right time, a magic wizard captain came there and fixed the jet. After this, Crystal Man and Yuno started fighting with each other. Asta utilizes this distraction and breaks the shield around the kingdom with his magic. But even after breaking the barrier, we came to realize that only Asta and Yuno could only possibly enter the kingdom, and the Crystal Man uses his black magic and seals the kingdom again. Now Yonu asked Asta to stop Conrad, and Yuno himself came to fight with the Crystal Man. Now here Yuno exposed his full powers. We can see the fire in his eyes and the sudden appearance of wings in his body, and different types of energy start radiating from his body. Now Crystal Man successfully blocks every attack of Yonu to fight back, and he attacks with a huge magic wave which throws Yonu to distance. Later he realized that Yonu wasn't actually fighting with him, but he was using his magic to free the magic wizard captains. He unfreezes 3 magic captains. Later on, they all assemble and fight with Crystal Man. On the other hand, the remaining magic warriors who were outside the kingdom started to fight with 2 Conrad's partners. In the next shot, we see Noelle Silva trying her best to stop Conrad, but she couldn't make it possible because Conrad was absorbing her magic. On the other hand, Conrad's partners were heavily beating the magic wizards. And here the Crystal Man also wasn't easy to beat. Now here Asta came to Conrad, but unfortunately he was late, and Conrad already put his imperial sword in the ground. Now, here the ground started shaking furiously, and everything started demolishing. Seeing this, Asta activates his devil mode. Here Conrad also summons his key magic and attains all of the magic attributes, which makes his body a little different and quite powerful. Asta just stood there seeing this all. Now Conrad uses his thunder power and strikes unbearable lightning on Asta. Asta was completely covered with wounds, nearly about to die, and couldn't stand against Conrad. At last here Conrad put the sword from Asta's chest to his back. Out and out. At this stage, Asta went to his unconscious mind where he saw the devil and asked him to help him out from this situation. The devil knowingly gave him some of the devilish powers. Now his body has changed into a real warrior. He now also had the wings, and his combating speed increased a little bit. Then the fight sequel was really relaxing. Asta was brutally beating Conrad and said, "People like you, Conrad, never deserve the rank of wizard warrior. People believed in you, but you broke their trusts." After this, they again started fighting. And during this extreme heated fight, Asta's sword somehow hit the magic spellbook. After Conrad's spellbook got struck with Asta's sword, all the magic he absorbs from different wizards returned back to the same owners. Here, Noelle gets her magic back and uses her water dragon to attack the old man. She finally defeated the old man with his water dragon magic force. Meanwhile, Asta is also dominating the fight with Conrad. And in this last scene, Asta took out the imperial sword from the ground, which stops the kingdom from devastation. As he plucked out the sword from the ground, Conrad's magic started weakening. The 3 magic wizards of Conrad now gradually start to disappear. Asta's devilish powers overcome Conrad's imperial sword. Here Conrad says, "I'm still not giving up," and he uses a forbidden spell which opens up a big red gate. And now he enters this evil portal machinery. This enormous red portal was about to attack the kingdom. Actually, it was charging its power to full limits. Many magic wizards and magic captains stood there seeing this terrible scene hopelessly. Even Asta couldn't find a way to stop this. Now here comes Julius and Yami to help Asta. Julius Caesar hand over the imperial sword to Asta and says you can only stop this attack by using both devil and imperial sword power simultaneously to overcome this attack of Conrad. Though Portal, every magic wizard starts supplying their magic to the imperial sword to make it even stronger, and they were saying that Asta, you're our last hope. After this, the ultimate power potential peels off from his body. He transforms into a beast. He had half the body of the devil and half of the imperial sword. Red and blue monster ready to stop Conrad. He flew towards the planet, producing attack waves, and Asta was using his power to lengthen the sword to reach the inner part to stop it. He tried to cut this thing into halves. After struggling for a long time, he finally destroyed this planet-shaped thing with all of his force. Here, Conrad also died there. As he was dying, he said to Asta, "Maybe my procedure to make peace was a little different. But fortunately, we have the same purpose. We both wanted to make peace in the world, and I hope maybe in the future, you'll make our dream true." They show us the next scene. After some days later, a peaceful, calm daytime, where Asta and his teammates were standing in the same place, which was destroyed actually, they all reconstructed the land. They start living the same way, but happier. Here the movie ends. Thanks for watching.